And of course, things also like winter. You've got a long, cold season here in Shandaken. It's the heritage of your community winter season. So we talk about, in the recreation standards section, things like cross-country skiing, skating, ice skating. There was once I think a bladder that got filled in one of the parks, and picking that up, the idea maybe even lighting something like that with a lit timer. So those are the notions of service standards that we present within the section. And then there's a unique section on trails and linear parks. It's a chapter in the plan, and there is tremendous evidence that not only is Shandaken a community that has all kinds of visitors for trails, whether it's primitive hiking, family hiking, people mountain biking, people accessing stream environments. Trails is, in a sense, the essence of your recreation environment here. But there's also tremendous evidence that trails within parks, as well as in a sense, trails and access to parks is one of the strongest ways to increase use of and the time of visits to parks. And not only that, the notion in the community's comprehensive plan is for linear trails, such as on rail rights-of-way, that connect hamlets and can not only be pleasing and accessible and usable by people of all ages, but they can help literally with community transport, displacing a few car trips when people can actually walk from point A to point B, and use those types of trails as a form of transport. And then finally, as I mentioned, the Recreation Board charged me with showing ways to use signage to help users find parks, find their way within parks, and also interpret their park environments. And that fits within notions like regional tourism sign systems, like in the Byway project. And so there's a whole section on signage, and it presents, for example, recommendations for each park, like a new sign for Smith Park, or a wayfinding system for the Phoenicia Hamlet, so that people can find their park environment. So I probably am getting long in the tooth, but that's basically the sections of the plan. I think I've mentioned some of the notions that the plan presents. A few others that I might mention, and this again is a 10-year plan and a guide. It's sort of a strategy, but of course I think it will be implemented as resources become available, and hopefully you and the community will put life to this plan. But other notions in the plan are to establish restrooms at Big Indian and Phoenicia parks, or, for example, around the Phoenicia Park, somewhere in that hamlet. Implementing actions to reinforce appealing, safe, and accessible environments in and around the parks. Acting to sustain fixtures. I think I've talked to some extent about that. Upgrading playgrounds. Bolstering potential options like, as I said, skating, maybe sledding in the community. It's, you know, a winter community. It's surprising that there's nowhere to sled here. And I've been always intrigued by places like up in Lake George at their town refuse facility. They put in an amazing sledding hill. That's up in the Adirondacks. And doing things like considering ways to address indoor recreation if the options present themselves. And of course, as I said, a main way to support recreation is developing and advancing the trail systems in the community, including linear trails or greenway trails. So I think that's really my highlight of the recommendations of the plan and how it's laid out. I might also mention that the plan does suggest enhancing your summer and winter recreation program. Probably with some small investments in those programs, you can get even more usership and more bang for your buck with the kids. Not to say that you're not doing a lot already, Really, a lot of the theme of the plan is that there's a lot going on already in the recreation environment. Of course, there's always ways that you can invest in and sustain recreation and enhance recreation. So this plan is a guide to doing that. And then going forward, as you mentioned, Mr. Supervisor, we're interested in the town board's recommendations, and we have our next recreation board meeting where we'll talk about the plan is actually next week. So if you have any framing recommendations, I understand that we're just presenting this, but if you have any initial reactions and recommendations, we're receptive to those. And then, as I think you said, the plan is available for public comment over the next month, and then we'll go forward with the process to advance the plan. And you mentioned that people can get copies of the plan, and I suppose I can also put a copy on file at the library and maybe at the schools and stuff like that too, so that people can, kids or people can get a hold of them there. So we'll do that. And unless you have any questions, that's an overview of the plan. I hope I didn't take up too much time. And it's on the town's website now.
Do board members have any questions about this right now?
When is the red meeting?
Next Monday?
Yeah, Monday at 6:30.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I just want to thank everybody on the rec committee for this. They really did a great job. And you too, David, everybody, Heather and Marty especially, great job.
Fun to work with the whole group. Thank you very much for having me out tonight.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Yes, Tony, you got a comment?
No, if I can ask you a question. I heard you talking with good people. Where's this money coming from? I asked. Like,
Recreation is currently funded by a small amount of the municipal budget. I estimate that about 1.5% of the municipal budget, or around $35,000, goes towards the summer recreation staff, and also some rentals like the porta potties in Emerson Fields and I think up at Big Indian Park. So a recommendation, in a sense, this is has capital planning recommendations. A recommendation is, by building restrooms in parks, you don't have to continually outlay to rent restrooms or porta potties, and maybe you can actually save some money. So hopefully there's money-saving notions within the plan. But 1.5% of municipal budget comes towards recreation, and then also, for example, there's recreation impact fees. When someone subdivides larger subdivision developments, they may contribute funds towards recreation. And of course, there's pools of donation, whether it's volunteer efforts and friends groups, and then also people contributing to funds, as well as there's resources that have been squirreled away in the community, not only recreation impact fees, but contributions from the DEP, like the Good Neighbor Fund. And then, of course, a lot about what this grant is about. I hope I alluded to it, that it's seeking outside assistance. This is a small town. So hopefully there's...
We have to contribute the town or anything?
So hopefully the idea is to get grants and resources that can support and leverage the community development around parks and recreation development.
Thank you.
Carol, yes.
I just wanted to make a comment. I work at Home Depot, and you should, as soon as possible, get a letter to Home Depot and to Lowe's, because they do get involved in these community projects. They send volunteers, which I have participated in. They will build things, no charge. They supply the materials and everything. We did walkway over the Hudson, as a matter of fact. So I suggest that you get letters out to them as soon as possible.
We'll do that.
Very good.
Heather, did you have anything you'd like to add as the chair?
No, I know there was some concern over cost. Also, David's fee for planning was came from the Greenway grant, so that did not come out of any town monies. It was volunteer group that applied for that grant with matching and kind services.
Thank you. I see a man looming before me. I'd like to welcome our Undersheriff, Frank Flutico.
this is the witness stand right here.
Could be the defendant's there.
I hope not. I've come here tonight. Town of Shandaken has always been a supporter of the Urgent Task Force from the very beginning. From the very beginning, it was our intent from the Urgent Task Force as we collected asset forfeiture monies to return some of those monies to the townships that participated. Your supervisor and your town board have been overwhelmingly supporting us, assisting us, even though the main focus of the Urgent Task Force isn't to do only investigations in the town of Shandaken. Gangs and drugs in Kingston all come back to a nexus of Ulster County, come back to a nexus of the city of Kingston. And from the city of Kingston, we have found these people have used Shandaken, Saugerties, Woodstock, all these townships, not only as stash places, but as places to deal out of, safe places. And working with all the PDs, we've been pretty successful. We continue to be successful. And even with the bad press that one member of Urgent got because of an arrest, we've stayed alive and we continue to do the job the rest of the men and women do honestly. So tonight, I've come here with the first disbursement of cash, and I'm presenting the town board with a check for $5,000. What that unfortunately, you can't put that in the parks, I'm sorry. There are some federal guidelines of what that money can be used for. I've spoke with the town supervisor briefly. I've spoke more in depth with Chief McGrath. The federal government requires you to use that for police investigation and police department activities. So this can be used to buy additional equipment for your police department that you weren't able to budget for. But I can tell you there are more monies to come. This did go through 2 branches of government. It went through the comptroller's office. It went through the county exec's office. There's a checks and balance. Government takes time. But we've done it. I believe we've done it right. This is the first disbursement of cash. And I thank not only the town board, but the town residents for allowing your members of your local police department to take place in this great team of men and women that go out there every day and work hard. We did make, one last note, we did make a illegal arms possession and sale arrest this week. We arrested a guy in Saugerties. He was selling ARs. He was selling handguns. He was a convicted felon. 11 felonies that man was charged with. Not one of them was a result of the SAFE Act. They were already on the books. I'll say thank you, and I'm going to leave because I know you don't want to listen to me all the time.
Frank, before you go, again, I'd like to send my gratitude to the town board, not just for the money, but for the work that you and Men in Blue do every day, day in, day out. And thank you very much. Appreciate everything you do in the sheriff's office, our town police, every law enforcement unit in the state. Committee reports. Mr. Muller. Ambulance.
Tough man to follow that, undersheriff.
Unless you got a bigger check.
Yeah.
You got mine.
Good answer. Good answer. Very nice. That was awesome. Total calls received for February 2013, 47. Total calls Bel Air, 26. Mutual aid given 2. Mutual aid received 1. Albeit a short month, February was certainly not devoid of its emergencies. Accounting for over 1/2 of our call volume this month was Bel Air Mountain, which most certainly made our cruise weekend particularly busy. 21 of those calls for service to the mountain occurring on a Saturday or Sunday during the month. With risk of sounding like a broken record, please take a lesson if you are new to the slopes, tune your equipment, wear proper protective equipment, and ski responsibly with due regard for others. In other news, the first of a series of training classes for the rollout of the town ambulance's electronic reporting system that coincides with our new billing company occurred in February and was very well received by staff. It is without a doubt that this switch from the antiquated paper system of reporting and billing will prove to be a more efficient and thorough system for daily operations and revenue recovery. See? and will save a veritable forest. For sure, the overstocked filing cabinets in our office are rejoicing. These classes shall continue throughout the month of March with a projected rollout to the field in April. And stay safe out there, please.
And Jack and I thank you for the plug about taking the lesson of
I'll hand out my business card.
Shandaken Police. Ducked out? I know, he ducked out.
He's hiding over there.
You guys have the numbers up there?
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, thanks.
Nice presentation.
Very good.
Well, I guess I got him up here. Shandaken Police Department monthly report for the month of February. Chief Deputy James McGrath. Total calls handled were 118. Total arrests 6. The total miles patrolled were 9,141.
Well done. Felicia Ward, Al.
Our next meeting is on the Wednesday, the 20th, at 6:30 in the library. Overall, the system has been pretty solid this past month. We're making progress with the repair of meters that are damaged or just not functional or have been disconnected. So that's been a real improvement over what we had previously. And there's still a few more to do, but we're making headway. And that's about it. Rick, you have anything?
Now, I got something about the gravel off.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I know water. Museum.
No.
Recreation, you have anything to add?
Nope, just to encourage everyone to deliver that master plan and give us some comments as soon as possible so we can wrap it up. Also, my email is on the website as well if anyone wants to contact me.
Actually, another note, because I don't know when this is going to happen. I was contacted by the Emerson this past week, who is willing to throw a fundraiser for the recreation department. They're looking to throw a 100-person limited dinner at probably $15 a head. I was trying to get a date from the marketing director today, but I could not get in touch with him. We will put it out on the town website and such. Again, it's going to be a limited number of tickets. They're willing to throw a fundraiser for the benefit of the recreation department. Heather and I have talked about it. I think the best place we thought was for the recreation donation account, which could go to future swing sets or equipment if we purchase in the future at some time. But we'll get you posted on when the date comes. Shandaken Day, that'll be next month start. Public comments and resolutions. Mr. Riccatello.
Yeah, on this stone crushing,
Yes, sir.
if we could just take the stone out of the, from Sig Indian Oliveria all the way down to Boyceville, we wouldn't have to pay any taxes. We could, use and sell it to probably all these towns along the Hudson Valley here. We're gonna lose about 9 or 10 pieces of road here for the next flood. Get rid of all these mountains. Down there by Uncle Pete's across the way there, 28's gonna go in about 3 spots. We could just dig that out and bring it up and crush it.
All right.
What's it costing us here for this?
We're going to find out tonight. That's why I mentioned it.
All right.
Any other comments on resolutions? Right along. David, if you wouldn't mind starting.
Resolution number 59-13, resolution to pay all bills. Whereas the Department of Audit and Control require town boards to sign and inspect all vouchers coming into the town for payment to number and total amounts from each fund. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board authorize the following vouchers paid. General, $51,114.16. Highway, $21,801.63. Phoenicia Water, $3,442.64. Pine Hill Water, $1,272.85. Phoenicia Lights, $1,148.22. Chichester Lights, $154.22. Pine Hill Lights, $635.68. And I move its adoption.
Board Member Bartlett? Yes. Board Member Bernstein?
Yes.
Board Member Higley?
Yes.
Board Member Jordan?
Yes.
Supervisor Stan?
Yes.
Resolution 6013, resolution for Catskill Mountain Scenic Byway nominations and corridor management plan adoption. Whereas the scenic qualities of New York State routes 28, 28A, 214, and 42, as described in the plan and the surrounding mountains, valleys, and hamlets, have been appreciated and celebrated over the century by the residents of the Central Catskills, as well as tourists, artists, authors, poets, and other visitors to the region. And it is this unique combination of mountain scenery, pristine waterways, historic hamlets that create the special sense of place that is vital to the economic health of the Central Catskills. Whereas the Central Catskills Collaborative, comprised of representatives of the 7 municipalities along the proposed scenic byway route, committed to work cooperatively to protect and promote the scenic, cultural, historic, and economic well-being of Route 28 corridor and the Central Catskills, and agreed to pursue the nomination of the Catskill Mountain Scenic Byway. Whereas under the leadership of the Central Catskills Collaborative, each of the 7 communities contributed to the development of this corridor management plan by forming local byway groups, encouraging public participation, and leading individual meetings of the collaborative. Whereas the advisory committee of the Central Catskills Collaborative, consisting of representatives from state, county, and city agencies, tourism organizations, and regional chamber of commerce, and an outdoor recreation organization, has strengthened partnership in the development of the corridor management plan. Whereas in the process of developing this corridor management plan, the Central Catskills Collaborative has strengthened the bonds of intermunicipal cooperation, and the involved communities envisions further benefit through scenic byway designation, including sustained collaborative progress, increased funding opportunities for recommendations identified in the plan, enhanced partnership with agencies responsible for the stewardship of resources along and adjacent to the byway route, and an improved transportation experience that preserves, interprets, and promotes the corridor's intrinsic qualities and resources. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town of Shandaken supports the designation of the Catskill Mountain Scenic Byway as defined above and in the Catskill Mountain Scenic Byway Corridor Management Plan, and adopts said plan, which includes programs for stewardship and enhancement of the scenic byway and guidance to manage future activities along its corridor. Be it further resolved that the town of Shandaken confirms that they will not issue building permits or any other permits or other permission to construct new off-premises outdoor advertising signs along the designated byway route, that off-premises tourism-oriented directional signage on state highways will be in compliance with the New York State Department of Transportation's Tourist-Oriented Designation Signs, TODS, program, and that off-premises directional signage for any county or local roads along the designated byway route will be consistent with the state TODS program. And be it further resolved that the town of Shandaken will work in partnership with the 6 other municipalities in the Central Catskills Collaborative and local and regional stakeholders in order to support future byway program development and collaborate with these interested entities to explore opportunities for cooperation and methods to advance the scenic byway. And I move its adoption. I'll second.
Board Member Bartlett? Yes. Board Member Bernstein?
Having a discussion with Councilman Higley, just going out to Arizona out there. He did a lot of talking to individuals around these routes, at least he relayed to me that. And although there were very many, a lot of advantages to it, increased tourism, etc. He did relay to me that there was concerns out there that there were loss of home rule. So just going on that, I still have concerns about home rule on this. I'm going to vote no.
Me too.
Board Member Higley?
No.
Board Member Jordan?
Yes.
Supervisor Stanley?
Yes. Resolution 6113. Resolution for agreement with Ulster Regional Enforcement Narcotics Team, urgent. Whereas from January 1, 2006 through December 31st, 2012, entirely or during a portion of that time, the Town of Shandaken and the Town of Shandaken Police Department participated in a task force commonly known as the Ulster Regional Enforcement Narcotics Team, or URGENT. And whereas the URGENT task force consisted of the County of Ulster, through and by the offices of the Ulster County Sheriff and the Ulster County District Attorney, various municipal member agencies, including but not limited to the Town of Shandaken and the Town of Shandaken Police Department, and the various towns and villages by and through their respective police departments, member agencies. And whereas the memorandums of understanding, MOU, regarding participation in URGENT were entered into from time to time during the aforementioned period by member agencies, and whereas the member agencies pursuant to the MOUs participated in jointly in the seizure of assets as a direct result of criminal investigations and or arrests, and pursuant to forfeiture guidelines of the United States Department of Justice, Criminal Division, Asset and Forfeiture Section, and or the Office of the Ulster County District Attorney, and whereas assets seized included personal property, goods, equipment, and money, and whereas pursuant to the MOUs, certain monies that were seized as a direct result of criminal investigations were deposited in forfeiture accounts kept in